follower of Jesus? I am too. I'm one of the disciples who ate that Passover dinner with Jesus on the night he washed our feet. The Passover dinner is a very special dinner for my people. The very first Passover dinner was many, many years ago in Egypt. On that night, all the firstborn in Egypt died. But God, in his grace and power, provided a way for all of us to be saved. You simply took the blood of a lamb and put it on the doorpost of your house. And in doing so, the angel of death passed over your house and everybody lived. But on that night, God used that to set our people free.
God told us to eat this special meal every spring to remember how he had saved us from Egypt. He also told us what we should eat and how we should eat it. If you would gather with my family on a typical Passover meal, we would often eat a whole roasted lamb, unleavened bread, and herbs. It's a very special meal, kind of like your Thanksgiving today.
And this meal was made even more special with Jesus joining us. Not only did he join us for the meal, but he also washed our feet beforehand. Now Judas left early from the meal because he was going on his way to betray Jesus. We didn't know that at the time, and Jesus wouldn't let us know at that time.
After Judas left, Jesus took some of the foods that make up our Passover dinner, and he created a special meal, a meal that we now call the Lord's Supper or Holy Communion. First, he took some of the unleavened bread, and he said, "This is my body given for you." Then he took some of the wine, and he said, "This is my blood of the new covenant or promise, poured out for you for the forgiveness of all of your sins." Jesus also told us on that night and every time since then, whenever we celebrate the Lord's Supper, to remember him. We didn't really understand what was going to happen the rest of that night, but we do now. We realize that Jesus was the Passover lamb that the Old Testament Passover always symbolized. And that through Jesus' blood and death on the cross, we realize that we have been set free and saved from slavery and from death.
We're going to show you some of the Passover foods. This is matzo, or unleavened bread. It is made without yeast, so it does not puff up. Sin is like yeast. It puffs up with pride, anger, and jealousy. Jesus never sinned. He never puffed up. Jesus said that the unleavened bread was like his sinless body. This is haricide. It is made with sweet fruits, nuts, and honey. It is to remind us that God's forgiveness is sweet.
Now here we have horseradish dip. And the horseradish, if you've ever tried it before, is very bitter and it has a very nasty flavor. Would anybody like to try?
I'll try it. Ugh.
This bitter taste is meant to remind us of how bitter it was to be slaves back in Egypt.
At this Passover dinner, Jesus and his disciples drank red wine made of grape juice. Today we will only be serving the grape juice. And we all wanted to thank you for coming and joining us on our witness testimony of the Passover dinner. We hope you have a great rest of your journey, and shalom.
Shalom.